Continuing from the previous episode, West City's battle zone was now a wasteland. Ruined buildings, plumes of black smoke constantly rising, and the ground torn apart by countless explosions and violent impacts. Executing the earth-slaying martial technique, the move Thundersteel Dragon Spear detonated thunderously behind Zhen Tianyu, propelling him like a fired projectile. The silver dragon-scaled spear flashed, trailing a sharp white streak of electricity, and surged straight toward the Overlord's body. The golden-horned insect lord curled its lip, wearing a contemptuous, sarcastic smile, chuckling, "Huh, huh, huh." It mocked humanity's weakness and sneered at the incoming technique, even keeping its arms folded as the warhorse charged with explosive momentum, its fist, huge as a millstone, clenched. The golden-horned insect lord leaned forward, bringing down an avalanche-like force. It didn't need techniques relying on raw, terrifying power. It roared that it would show everyone what it meant to be crushed by pure strength. Its punch tore the air apart, generating a rolling shockwave like a furious sea crashing forward. The weight of the blow made space tremble violently, as if everything within the impact zone would be ground into oblivion. Suddenly, the golden-horned insect lord's body jolted and froze. It let out a baffled roar. "What is this?" As the lightning at the spear tip was about to strike the golden fist, an old man lean but solid appeared in an instant. He shouted and unleashed the earth-slaying secret technique, water accumulation stone-piercing hands. His hands flowed like water, repeatedly striking vital points on the golden-horned insect lord's arm. Immediately, the golden-horned insect lord felt sharp pain in its arm, and the power of its punch was reduced by more than half. At the same time, lightning erupted along the silver spear, piercing the golden carapace that encased its fist. The golden-horned insect lord roared, a grinding metallic sound. It angrily barked that humans had studied its bodily traits carefully to devise countermeasures. Rage made its whole body tremble, the golden shell bristling with sharp edges. Its insect wings spread as it accelerated to maximum, knocking the silver spear aside. The other hand descended like a meteor toward the gaunt old man, roaring with murderous intent, "Finish you first." A giant fighter nearly 3 meters tall, clad in heavy armor like steel, raised a massive shield the size of a wall, shouted, and charged in to block Old Mu. He stood like a living steel fortress, while Old Mu immediately stepped back to avoid the blow, letting the giant take the brunt of the impending devastating attack. A thunderous explosion shook the ground as the armored fighter was slammed down, his huge body driven deep into the stone. Bright red blood seeped through the metal seams of his thick armor, and the great shield on his arm vibrated with a piercing screech, evidence that the impact nearly pulverized his body into pieces. Just as the golden-horned insect lord was about to strike the finishing blow, a young couple suddenly appeared to block it. Dai Kai Ming, half-sect grandmaster, and his girlfriend Bai Tian Tian, martial artist of the Mystic Black Nine segments. Both practiced dual cultivation martial technique, able to unleash grandmaster-level power when combined. Kai Ming. Esho. Outed. "Tian Tian, now." And she replied, "Leave it to me." Bai Tian Tian immediately spread her arms, reached a peak of qi, and shouted as she executed the yin-yang locking technique. Cold yin and vigorous yang auras swirled around her hands, merging into two opposing yet tightly linked forces, as if to lock the space itself. Dai Kai Ming lunged forward. The tiger-headed armored gauntlet on his hand growled like a beast awakening. The two, one hard and one soft, merged like taiji in motion. Opposing forces twisted together, forming a perfect trajectory of power. Black qi and white, qi fused and separated, opposing yet complementing, enabling their technique to erupt with potency far beyond normal limits. Although the technique could hold it, the golden-horned insect lord hardly expended any energy. It sneered coldly, mocking that such a martial art could never restrain the body of this king. When the opponent loudly opened a domain, the golden-horned insect lord immediately sensed an unusual aura and involuntarily turned its head, eyes full of astonishment. Standing amid the battlefield, the giant golden-horned insect lord scanned around. At its feet lay countless stacked corpses. It roared in fury as it realized this place appeared to be what humans called the field of death. Suddenly, a spray of red blood burst into the air, staining a corner of the battlefield. Opposite them, Zhen Tianyu charged on his killing horse, like an accelerating F1 racer. The great spear in his hand was covered in electric light. Man and horse fused as one leading a thunder army. Before the golden-horned insect lord, a great general bearing a thunder spear, commanded countless troops formed from lightning. Unleashing his domain, Heavenly Army Thunder Steel. The golden-horned insect lord looked up, eyes fixed on the scene above, and admitted aloud that humanity's cultivation system indeed had aspects worthy of its consideration. It roared madly as its body doubled in size, cracking the golden armor to reveal red veins like flowing magma. Its hind insect wings beat violently, generating sharp layers of shockwaves that swept sideways, each flap sounding like thunder. It lowered its body, gathered momentum, and blasted off while still hissing provocatively. Perhaps Di Huang was right. We should learn a thing or two. Its form instantly became a supersonic streak of golden light, hurtling straight into the incoming thunder army. Two opposing streams of light prepared for a violent clash, illuminating the surrounding space. With a thunderous boom that shook heaven and earth, the two forces collided and shattered the entire domain's mental landscape. Blinding thunder spread across West City, and a massive lightning beam tore from the center to the city's edge, wiping out everything in its path. When the aftershock subsided, a cold wind blew through, bringing a deathly silence. The stunned onlookers exchanged glances and wondered whether the Lord had been slain or merely gravely wounded. Defeating him so effortlessly seemed impossible. From the golden-horned insect Lord's shredded half-body, lumps of flesh twitched as new armor quickly grew. Despite the severe injury, it laughed and praised humanity's strength, saying that an ordinary lord would likely have fallen long ago. From the pierced torso, a long, slender arm suddenly thrust out, cutting through the air. It roared with self-satisfaction, asserting that there remained hierarchical differences among lords, and that it stood on a higher tier. The people ahead murmured in confusion. Old Mu narrowed his eyes and was startled to realize this was a rare molting form. Even Zhen Tianyu was taken aback by the sudden transformation. The 5-meter-tall giant's body began to crack in large sections, revealing a smaller dark gold shape inside that radiated even fiercer momentum. In the second mole, Ting state, the golden-horned insect lord became leaner and more agile, its body hardened like steel, its limbs taking on humanoid contours sheathed in powerful natural armor. In the next instant of movement, the creature unleashed the full might of its new state, darting so fast the naked eye couldn't track it. Only the cold, extended smile on that grotesque face remained visible. A sharp gust tore into Old Mu's face before he could react, and a savage laugh rang out with the declaration to kill the first obstacle. Dai Kai Min. Ji and Bai Tiantian immediately leapt forward to shield Old Mu, taking defensive stances, while Old Mu instinctively used force dispersion to lessen the impact. A heaven-shaking boom erupted as a ring of qi violently detonated, making the sky tremble. A terrifying palm gust swept thousands of meters ahead, shattering every window of the buildings lining the street like a rain of glass. 3 blood-soaked figures were flung far away. Only Dai Kai Ming, with the highest cultivation, and Old Mu, who had dispelled some force, managed to hold on. Even he exclaimed at the terrifying speed. Bai Tian, being weaker, suffered a shattered arm, was grievously wounded, and fainted. Seeing their comrade felled in an instant, the 2 survivors angrily surged forward, shouting as arcs of electricity sliced the air. A steel fist and a razor spear simultaneously struck from behind with full force, but in a split second, the Thundersteel Dragon Spear's tip was clamped by the golden-horned insect lord's dark gold hand, preventing Zhen Tianyu from withdrawing even with the Keeling horse's aid. Opposite them, the armored fighter's strongest hammer swing was stopped by one hand. Its 5 fingers closed, shattering the hammer like paper. The recoil sent the attackers flying. Their chests struck so hard, they struggled to breathe. Witnessing the overwhelmingly dire situation, Zhen Tianyu shouted frantically for Engo Hong, his voice showing obvious anxiety and unease. The golden-horned insect lord's overwhelming power became unstoppable. It unleashed a descending kick at Zhen Tianyu's horse and sneered contemptuously. The mount was hurled from the ground, slammed into a distant skyscraper, producing a thunderous explosion that shook the entire area. The dark gold arm gripping the great spear suddenly lifted, hauling Zhen Tianyu's entire body off the ground. Under the crushing pressure of that hand, even breathing became extremely difficult for him. It uttered a strange, shrill laugh, taunting without restraint that an entire squad, exhausted and strained, still couldn't contend with it alone. Then the creature tightened its grip, enunciating each threatening word about other lords hiding in West City, making the pressure even more suffocating. Hearing those words, Zhen Tianyu's face went pale. The pain from the hand choking his throat left him nearly speechless. Panic rose as he stammered a question in disbelief that there could be more lords in West City.